Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Walking with J.Beau on today's July 4th Independence Day walk. We certainly have a lot to be thankful for and to celebrate today. Being an American. Glory, hallelujah. So welcome to Walking with J.Beau, my friends. An almost daily walking vlog. If you are not a happy American today, then I don't know what to tell you. We are witnessing one of the most consequential presidents in our lifetimes. And I say lifetimes because I think President Trump is the greatest president we have had since way back when we were founded. I'm sure people are going to argue that, but hey, you know, I'm entitled to an opinion. The deep state establishment screwed him over on his first term, and he was still successful. They screwed him over for his second term, and we all know how that turned out. They got their guy in there, and he destroyed the country. Democrats ruined everything for everybody, and now Trump is in there on absolute fire, firing on every cylinder on this beautiful July 4th weekend. It is July 4th today, aka Independence Day. I would rather see people call it Independence Day than July 4th, or use both together. I saw a Democrat congressman running for office online earlier, trying to say that people are wrong for celebrating Independence Day today when we won the Revolutionary War in 1871, technically, when the Constitution was instituted. And that's true. But Independence Day was the day we declared independence from England. So July 4th is Independence Day, and this is how stupid Democrats are. And they hate America anyway, because CNN poll just came out. Only 36% of Democrats are proud to be an American, compared to 80% when Obama was president in 2015. So from 2015 until now, President Trump has been in the picture, and they're not happy. The blue-haired, angry nose ring brigade is very unhappy right now, folks. So I shall wipe a tear for the unhappy Americans and then enjoy the greatest time being an American right now, even since before Trump was elected the first time. Things are really gearing up. The economy is turning around. Job numbers are better than predicted. Inflation is next to zero again. As soon as Too Slow Powell gets off his friggin' Trump-hating ass and cuts interest rates like the rest of Europe and the world has. So we are going to just wait and see what happens. But right now, beautiful things are set to happen. Things are going great. We're going gonna have a wonderful, absolutely great time. There's my doggy friend up here that's gonna want to eat me. Hopefully the leash is short enough where I don't have to jump out in front of cars. The dog wants to eat me. Wants to eat me for dinner. So when we round the corner up ahead here, we'll do a selfie today. I have the stick. First, I want to comment on the weather. For this July 4th today, get this, it's been hot and muggy for a week and a half. AC has been running. Well, today the AC is off. We get free Canadian air conditioning. Canada was kind enough to send us a blast of fresh air over the border, since we border Canada. And it is 72 degrees today, friends. Bright sunshine, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. 72 degrees. Humidity is at 44%. The dew point is at 48 degrees, under 50. The air is dry. It is absolutely perfect. For July 4th. So in celebration of our great president doing an absolutely fantastic job, despite the media not wanting to call it a One Big Beautiful Bill Act, which is actually the name of it, they don't want to say it on the media. So they're going to call it the mega bill, because that's what the AP issued. Now remember I told you, and again, I'm not saying remember I told you like I'm some know-it-all more than you. I'm just saying on past walks I mentioned the AP pretty much dictates the talking points for the media, what they call things or what they don't call things. They're the ones that came up with assault rifle when none exist for domestic use. Even though they're black, scary looking guns, they are not assault rifles. If the military had those, they would lose very quickly. So, the AP has something called a style book. And they even have an official website for it. You can go check that out if you want. That is the style book that the rest of the media uses. Now the real question is, how does one organization, the Associated Press, get so big that they control what the other media talk about? Well, that's a whole nother discussion for another walk. But they control what the world gets for news. So when Trump gets called Putin's puppet when he's running for office, pretty much stems from the AP, and CNN just copies everything they do. So, mega bill it is. We're going to call it the One Big Beautiful Bill, because that's what it is. That's the official name of it, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. That's what it will say in Congress through the annals of time. It's not called the mega bill. Now they could turn around and change one letter in it and call it the MAGA bill. That would be okay, maybe, as a nickname. But anyway, the Democrats are petty, petulant children, because they're losing. And they are losing, my friends. They're losing a lot. They're losing everything. Everything they worked so hard to turn this country into a communist country, they're losing it. And I am thrilled, absolutely tickled, that these people cannot lose gracefully. I'm savoring and enjoying every minute of their suffering because they can't impose socialism on America. So we're going to head up this way. Turn the camera around up ahead here. Hello, my friends, my wonderful, wonderful, wonderful internet friends. Hi, everybody. It's your favorite J.Beau. So right now in America, it's time to wear your MAGA stuff with pride. You'll be okay, even in some place like New York City. Someone might throw some words at you, but you'll be okay. So anyway, we have July 4th today, a very happy celebratory day, and we're going to celebrate with some fireworks tonight. We're opting to do something we do every year ourselves. And I hope that you enjoy the holiday for what it is, Independence Day, and enjoy being an American and all the sacrifice it took so you can sit around and grill meat on your fat can today and enjoy life and freedom and liberty. And it's nice to know on several different things to be thankful for today for liberty and freedom is that our elections are still viable. They still matter. And Washington, D.C. is changing. It's going to be slow. It's all up to the voters. It's all up to the voters. Pretty much most politicians are all sleazebags, slime balls. A lot of these people that run for office have law degrees. Some of them are business people. Those seem to be the better ones. by the end of the day, there's a lot of corruption in DC, greased palms, backroom deals, and a lot of those are still prevalent, but they're losing steam. The American public has woken up to it for the most part, and you can tell that because, like I said, our elections still work. The majority of the country just voted for, quote unquote, an orange Hitler, bigoted, racist Nazi who's going to put LGBT and everyone else that doesn't agree with him in concentration camps, and he's going to deport everyone even if they're American citizens just because they have brown skin. So that's the narrative, and people voted in the majority. Trump did the most unthinkable thing that Democrats could hope for. He won with the majority popular vote, which makes him legitimate in their eyes, even though they even tried to belittle that. He only won by 1.7%. Even the AP's vote counting map has 49.9% of the vote. They just won't give him that 50% because 50% means half the country voted for you. So the Democrats are actually doing like your local gas station. Today's gas is $2.79.09. It's not $2.80, it's $2.79. So the Democrats are petty. And I've used this analogy quite a bit, but it's true. A lot of people, the reason why the one big beautiful bill was so awesome is that they packed it with so much stuff. Having a majority in the House and a majority in the Senate, and using the fact that you had a slim majority in either one to get it through, using strategy and being smart by making a big, huge single bill that has tax cuts in it. Because how can you vote against tax cuts and explain it to your constituents? Well, apparently 3 Republicans did. Rand Paul of Kentucky, very disappointed in him. He thought it was better to grandstand, and you know, he's a libertarian. Technically he should be an independent and out of the Republican Party, but he doesn't seem to be a big fan of Trump's agenda. He won't come out publicly and trash Trump, but he's not on board with the agenda. He doesn't think we need a wall. Apparently, he doesn't think Americans need tax cuts. And he feels that the principles are more important than people's paychecks. He's out of touch. Now, you have to work with what you have currently. And the problem the Republican Party has, and I've mentioned this on previous walks, they're so used to being in the minority and losing that they don't know what to do when they win. If President Trump hadn't come along, that's all these guys would be doing, is grandstanding against Democrat policy, trying to get a news bite so they can fundraise and run for re-election in a losing party. Well, the Freedom Caucus is very similar.
You know, one thing, you know, whether you hate or love the Democrats,
When they have power, they govern. Full throttle, they just push things through. They get everybody on board. And whether you like that or not, they govern. Republicans, when they get power, they fight, they bicker, they debate, which is fine. But at the end of the day, you have to govern. You have to. And Washington, D.C. is not perfect. It's not how I would like it to see. I would like to see all government spending cut tomorrow. But you have to live in a current reality. The current reality is, it's been 50, 60 years or so in the making of messing up our country, putting us in debt. A lot of it started with the Cold War, which was very expensive. Cold War against Russia really depleted a lot of resources and coin we had. And that was in the 50s and 60s, post-World War II. We had an economic boom going on. We were able to afford it for a little while. And then we had the Vietnam War. We had the Democrats, who notoriously always defund the military and raise taxes. That's their playbook. Has been for a long time, and it's even worse now. So that put a big strain on Social Security, Medicare funding, and they borrowed from here, borrowed from there, made it up over here, raised taxes here, and increased a lot of social programs, entitlements as they're called, and we're in a big mess. And it was all done under the premise that, well, we'll kick the can down the road and let somebody else deal with it. Well, somebody else is dealing with it now, and Washington, D.C. is not happy. They want to keep their backroom deals. They want to keep their status quo. They want to keep spending all this money we don't have, making their wife's NGO a lot of money, according to how the husband votes in Congress, or the wife votes in Congress and the husband has an NGO, non-governmental organization. Great things are happening right now. USAID, USAID, that officially ended July 1st. The media really didn't talk about it much because they don't want to talk about it, because most people want government waste ended, and the media doesn't want to tell you that Trump is doing that. All they want to talk about is the big, beautiful bill increasing the deficit. So the deficit they're talking about is the debt ceiling. The debt ceiling has to be expanded to accommodate the growth that we're going to have. And yes, a lot of this is, we don't have that money yet, and we're counting on it. And my mother used to say, don't count on anything until you have it in your hand. But they have a structure in place that will be beneficial. It can't fail. So a year from now, people are going to be singing a different tune. Before the elections next year, this country is going to be booming. Our deficit is going to be getting reduced. Interest rates will be next to nothing. And people are going to be happy. People are going to have more of their paycheck every week. I was reading this week that if you make under $40,000, kind of a low-wage job, that you're going to see a 15% reduction in the taxes taken from you. Currently, I think it's 15.3, or 15.7 they take in taxes. Now, you're always going to have to pay Medicare and Social Security, but you're going to get a big tax break, tax cut. And all of these people that are independents, working as waitresses, cooks, delivery people, Uber drivers, Uber, whatever you want to call it. And people are going to be getting more of their money every week. Tell me again how that's going to fail for midterms. Got some stuff here people cleared up. Put on the side of the road. Got an old busted up old sled. Looks like a water ski or some kind of ski. Snowboard. Looks really old. And some old ice skates. Bowers. Molded plastic ones. Got this old whiskey box. Look at that. Old whiskey box. A lot of people would grab that, fix it up, put it in their house somewhere. Oh, what a nice breeze today, my friends. What a nice breeze. And again, it's 72 degrees, sunshine, nice fresh Canadian air. I mean, this literally does not get better today. People must be having a great day out on the lake or the ocean. 10 to 14 mile an hour winds though, but it feels nice. I hear a car coming up behind. I'm going to scoot off to the side here. It's a perfect day in Maine. Perfect. Some friggin' gnats bothering me. So I hope everybody's having a beautiful weekend so far. Taking a look at our field here, see if there's any fox or turkeys in it today, or whatever else we may see. I don't see any turkeys in the straw. Take a little walk down here, not too far. It's somebody's property. I just want to get a camera shot. You know what I mean? That is postcard perfect. That makes me happy. And trust me, that looks much more beautiful than in person. What a beautiful day. Tomorrow's going to be nice too, because it'll be range day. Now tomorrow, for range day, we have shotgun shells. We have a whole bunch of 5.7 by 28. We have a whole bunch of 223. We have other goodies as well. I'm going to bring my black powder pistols, pistolios. Looks like we got some critters that dive bombed the trash can across the street and made a mess. They must have smelled something good in it. Could be a raccoon, could be a crow, aka magpie or raven, depending on what country or region of the United States you come from. Last night I was tired. I was on my cell phone while I was watching Mad Max, and I fell asleep with the TV on, and I woke up with the phone laying on my face a couple hours later, and it was one of those days. Drove to Portland, Maine to pick up my brother at the airport. So we'll go shooting tomorrow, and then I gotta give him a ride back to the airport Sunday evening. There's some crows right there. Probably the ones that did the trash picking. Those right down over there are beehives down that way. Those white boxes down there, those are bees. Some kind of shindig going on up ahead here. Party, July 4th celebration or something. A whole bunch of vehicles parked on the side of the road. So we'll see what that's all about. I don't know what this truck wants. Just talking to somebody on the phone. I'm going to cross the street. I'll get the bog down that way where we've seen plenty of geese. It's all covered in muck and lily pads right now, which means there's probably a lot of bass. And I'm going to walk up this way. We are in Trump country right now, by the way. Some kind of shindig going on up here. Looks like a big get together. Swimming pool. Big July 4th shindig today. Very nice. Everybody's in bathing suits. Never a bad thing. Well, I'm getting a good walk in today. Let me turn the camera around again. So my friends, I'm very happy with the gnats. They're just pests. There we go. Anyways, my friends, we are going to enjoy today as an American. This is my official July 4th walk and talk. Walking with J.Beau, and I don't know how many of these I've done, but I know it's in the hundreds, and I know that YouTube doesn't host all of them. I upload all of them, and the YouTube algorithm seems to pick which ones they're going to delete. So a lot of my redundant routes end up getting deleted, and I talk a lot about the same things, just different dates and what's progressing with each one. And again, it's just an exercise walking vlog. Pretty much walk every day. I don't upload every walk, but most of them. So when you see a hole in the calendar, it doesn't mean I didn't walk. But I have started reducing the picture quality of what gets recorded. I choose standard now instead of the best picture quality. It still looks pretty good because, to be honest with you, you record something in 4K or something really good, and good quality, and then you convert it into a file because you gotta do some editing, and then you upload it to YouTube, and YouTube compresses it. So it really doesn't matter what picture quality you use, they all end up pretty much looking the same. Now, the file itself that I record on here looks absolutely perfect, like watching a movie on your computer screen before editing. So after that though, it you know, when it's compressed, it starts to pixelate a little bit. It's not as sharp. Still looks good, but it's not the same. And each walk I take is about 60 gigabytes worth of info. So that would literally take probably a day and a half to upload the entire file. Well, maybe not that long, but it takes 2 to 3 hours with just, we get some more July 4th festivities. So we get takes about 2, sometimes 3 hours for about 20 gigabytes. And if you had 60 to 80, well, that's going to be a while, several hours. So, and it takes longer to convert the files too. So you have to convert it, which takes a few hours if you have a file size that big, and then to upload it, you know. Now if you just did a live video feed, it would solve all those problems, but then it takes away from my ability to be able to edit, which I enjoy doing. It also takes away from something I shouldn't say on here that I do by accident. Like maybe a mention where somebody I know lives just out of habit, like I'm talking to somebody. And I don't want to put that information on YouTube. So it's nice to be able to go back and edit that before uploading. So, and I get it. I know people like to have a live feed. They feel like they're a part of something live. So I've talked about it and I haven't done it yet. I really should start doing some live streaming from at home, just sitting down in front of a camera, have a live chat. So I really should start doing that. Problem is, I like to go for my walks, and I would be doing the same thing that I'm doing on my walk, and there's only a certain amount of time during the day. So it's always hard to find time to do that, it sounds like. Because when I'm not on here walking, I got other things I do. And sometimes when you get free time, you want to use it to play guitar, listen to records, vinyl. I can't do anything with vinyl playing on here because of YouTube's copyright things. Take time to clean firearms, for example. So anyway, there's a lot of people out today enjoying July 4th, Independence Day, which is nice. And we're going to walk up this way over here. I'll turn the camera around. Like that. Comme ça. Oh. So that's kind of an interesting walk today. Now there's some basic things that a lot of these younger generation don't know anymore because school system is incompetent. I don't think you can find very many people under 30 years old that can name the 6 founding fathers of this country, which is unfortunate. You had Alexander Hamilton, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams. I'm sure I just repeated somebody, but basically that was the 6: Hamilton, Franklin, Jefferson, Washington, Madison, Adams. Declaration of Independence, 1776, was done in private, in hiding, secretly. A lot of the paintings commemorating the signing of that is just an artist took it upon themselves to make it look that way because it looks really patriotic. But realistically, it was in back rooms, basements, behind breweries, things like that, secretly, so the British wouldn't know about it because they would have been put to death or imprisoned or both. So it really was not as romantic as it's portrayed. Constitution didn't come till much later, and there's just a lot of people that just don't know all that stuff. It's really sad because that's how you end up with socialists winning primaries in New York. So apparently that's part of their plan, is to raise a whole bunch of idiots who become adults and then they become useful adult idiots. So all of our rights in this country are granted to us by God at great cost. The founding fathers, most of them died penniless, broke. They put all their treasure into financing the revolution, and they paid at great cost. And people were so thankful to Thomas Jefferson that they just forgave his debts and let him live in Monticello, or Monticello, whatever you want to call it. And when he died, he was almost $2 million in debt in 1800s money, okay? That's astronomical. Well, it would be the equivalent today of 2.7 million, I think. Whatever the equivalent was back then in thousands. But the point is, he was very broke, indebted a great deal, had serious prostate problems. He probably had prostate cancer and didn't know it. They didn't know that then. But they did a procedure on him by inserting a rod into your penis to open the passageway because he couldn't go to the bathroom. His prostate had swollen up so much he just couldn't go. And so that was successful. I'm sure it was very painful, but the problem back then is they did not disinfect anything because they didn't understand bacteria and all that stuff. So he got an infection from that, which caused his kidney problems. He had a serious infection and his kidneys were failing. He was getting a lot of water retention, swollen ankles towards the end of his life. He was suffering every day. And so there's a lot of things like that people don't know. And you should research that. Should research it. John Adams is somebody who today would be a liberal. He was very disagreeable. Three of the founding fathers didn't get along with him very well on their political views. They were great friends. John Adams and Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson was a conservative. John Adams was not. And for the remainder of Thomas Jefferson's life, John Adams and Thomas Jefferson didn't speak with one another. They were not happy with each other at all, because they had this great experiment and they had different ideas about where it should go. And there was a political tug of war going on at the time. You had a lot of people that were seeking great power in a new country, and a couple of them had bad intent. They didn't believe in all this democracy stuff. They wanted to start a new imperial monarchy, basically, here. And they wanted to run everything. So there was a lot of political turmoil in the early part of our country to get us going. But the Constitution was the law of the land, and that saved us. Just like it's saving us now. So we still have political factions trying to take over this country, and it's always going to be that way. And that's why we have to teach the kids, not indoctrinate them, but teach them about the Constitution and how it protects the guy you hate down the street as much as it protects you. And unfortunately, that has gotten lost. And that's why a lot of Trump's base and Republican base are older people. And now we are getting a lot of younger people. A lot of these younger people have gone to schools and experienced the socialist indoctrination, the neo-Marxist bullshit. And there's a huge surge of young people becoming Republicans. Some are leaving the Democratic Party, especially young men, who the Democratic Party has been spending time telling them that young men cannot be masculine. Toxic masculinity, remember that? That's all neo-Marxist bullshit. And a lot of men want to be men. Now, David Hogg, who was one of the Parkland shooting survivors when he was in school, became one of the chair people for the DNC, voted for by young people in the DNC who are tired of the old establishment pushing the socialist crap. So he was elected, and the DNC already got rid of him. Why? Because he was truthful. He said, I'm in my 20s, I'm young, and young men just want to party, have sex, and enjoy their life, and not be bothered by socialists telling them how they should live. Well, they got rid of him pretty quick. So, the Democratic Party has a lot of problems right now. The young people that they do have that are happy in the Democratic Party, they're all socialists. They're borderline, if not already, communists. And it's very dangerous. They just elected. And it's a problem in white liberal America. That's the problem. Virtue signaling white liberals. And they just elected a socialist in their primary to run for mayor of New York. And black voter turnout was low. Voter turnout was low. But he got enough of that white liberal vote. So we're going to see what the Hispanics and black people do in New York. And the men, who are still men, what they're going to vote for in New York. That's why they wanted to make sure Mayor Adams, who is still somewhat sane, he has said enough things to irritate conservatives, but he said a lot of things that have irritated these socialists. He was helping Trump with the immigration problem, for example. They tried to make a whole narrative out of it that Adams was bought by having his charges dropped, which were, by the way, politically motivated persecution of the mayor of New York for not going along with Democrats. So I think he's got a good chance if some corporations who don't want to pack up their factories and move out of New York or their businesses, because this Mamdani guy is going to tax the friggin' living hell out of them, they'll have to leave New York. If they don't want to leave New York, they're probably going to donate to Adams to help him get reelected. Because these businesses are already taxed enough. They're overtaxed as it is. And I think if Adams was smart, he would push for deregulation of businesses in New York. I think they would enjoy that. Lower their city taxes. Let Trump and ICE come in and round up all their illegals, which is costing New York City such a huge amount of money. They're going to have to make some tough choices, because they can't have a self-professed socialist communist. And he's got no shame in it at all. He just says it. Yep, I'm a socialist. I got no apologies. I hate capitalism, he said. He wants to distribute everybody's wealth that has money. Oh, I'll turn this around. So these people are crazy, and they want rich people to pay everything, but you know, if you do that nationally, corporations just move to the Philippines or Vietnam or wherever, and they import everything. If you do that in a state, they all do what they've been doing. They've been leaving California for Texas and greener pastures, and they've been leaving New York mainly for Florida. So Kathy Hochul, the not a centrist progressive in New York, said they're not going to be raising taxes. She said that's just not going to happen to pay for all this stuff he wants. So they don't want him there. They're going to find a way to get rid of him with ranked choice voting, is my guess, by having an Adams on the ticket. And maybe make a couple other candidates run. So those votes will go to Adams, independent candidates. And, you know, that's how that works. Ranked choice voting. It's a runoff election, basically, without having a runoff election. So when neither candidate gets 50%, they have ranked choice voting kicks in. And that's why they have ranked choice voting. And they have other candidates on the ballot that lean left, because those votes usually go to Democrats. Now the danger here, obviously, is these other independents that may be on the ticket, I don't know what they have yet, may be leftist, which is something we don't want. But anyway, if you're wondering, you're like, isn't Mayor Adams a Democrat? Yeah, he is, but he's going to run for re-election since he's term limited as a Democrat, because that's the New York rules. He's going to run as an independent. So you can't serve more than 2 terms for your party in New York. But you can change your party and run for the same seat, because the New York rules allow that, and that's what he's going to do. So New York likes to have their little cheat rules in there. Well, we're going to use it against them. Adams is currently the sitting mayor, and he's got the support of black people, and he has the support of the workers and the unions. So I think he'll have the money he needs, and I wish him luck. I would rather see a Democrat Adams, who I think is still too far left than he should be. Compared to Mamdani, he's friggin' Trump, okay? So, you know, we can't have this friggin' guy in New York City. This needs to be nipped in the bud before it spreads nationally. We already have a socialist in Chicago for a mayor. Karen Bass in Los Angeles is a socialist. They don't come right out and say they are. This guy just comes right out unapologetically and says it. That's the difference. But the other ones are just as dangerous. And the Democratic Party does not want to be pegged as a socialist party. That's why they screwed over Bernie Sanders when he was running against Hillary Clinton, because he was a socialist. Bernie the socialist. Well, compared to the socialist they have now, Bernie is a conservative. So AOC, people like her are very dangerous. She's getting to be very powerful in the party. The DNC tried to silence her a few years ago when Pelosi was running things, and she ran circles around them because she's young, she's smart, and she has backers. AOC is not stupid. She says dumb things and she can't talk worth a crap. But what I mean by smart, she's a good strategist. Problem with her is she's focused on the socialist stuff, and she's going to run out of rope on that because too much of the Democratic base are not socialists. So here's that hole down there in the road, getting worse. That goes in, I can see in there about 4 feet, almost to that yellow line. So that's that's going to collapse. I've already sent a damn video to the city, and she never got back to me, and she didn't answer me. So I did what I was supposed to. Hopefully that doesn't cave in and somebody rips their front end apart driving in a hole. So anyway, just take some time today and this weekend to appreciate being an American. You don't have to go out and celebrate, although the Founding Fathers said on July 4th, Independence Day, you are to go out and make all the noise, pomp and circumstance, I believe is the wordage they used. Party, celebrate, fireworks, shoot your guns, basically, is what they were saying. So, but if you want to stay at home and watch the fireworks celebration in Washington, D.C., as part of that, that's fine too. There's plenty of fireworks displays to watch. It's a happy day, my friends. A happy day. Enjoy life, enjoy being an American, and do what you got to do to keep it, always. And hopefully that never goes too far. This country is 250 years old next year. We're still a very young country, just an extreme speck of time in world history. You had 1,000-year empires. 1,000-year empires. We had the Turkish Empire. We had the Chinese Empire. We had so much of Europe, Spain, Portugal, England, conquering the rest of the world. And, and the very common thread between Spain, Portugal, the United Kingdom, and Rome, Italy, and the Turkish Empire, and the Chinese one to some extent, is they tried to conquer the world and realized that you can't afford to do that. It's not an easy task. All of those empires went bankrupt and had revolutions. So we are just a little speck. Now I want you to remember something, okay? Remember in 2020, we had the lockdown nationally. If somebody could find a way to do that legally, through some sort of shenanigans or trickery, we were all left sitting in our homes, unable to do anything about it. We could lose all our freedoms and rights overnight like that. And when that happened, that was a very, very good reminder for me to appreciate the rights I have and refocus. It could all be gone tomorrow. China could invade the United States on the West Coast. And, anything could happen at any time. And we need to appreciate what we have and know that if the time comes, we're going to need to do something to keep it. So we'll come up on the last third of this walk. Well, closer to the last quarter, actually. Feel my hamstrings burning today, which is good. That means I'm walking at a good pace. I got my breathing up today too. Walking a little harder today, intentionally. I got a pretty good sweat going, even though it's not humid. Nice breeze. Oh, that feels good. Now, I won't be able to say the same thing Monday. Monday is going to be in the 90s, so will Tuesday. Then we're going to have some kind of unsettled, somewhat rainy week, sort of. See the wind blowing the trees. So it's a nice breeze today. Just a beautiful New England summer day. Looks like they marked some place to repair here. Got one up ahead there that got filled. So nobody marked the sinkhole we saw though. This guy over here collects Corvettes. He's got 3 of them, different years. One's got the hood up in there. He's working on. Obviously a Corvette person. Kind of like I like Gibson Les Pauls. Some people like Fender Stratocasters. They're both good. I've got one of each. Stratocasters are pretty awesome. I also have a gaggle of what you would call super strats, which would be 1980s styled heavy metal guitars, which I love a lot. Play those often. Kramer guitars, I like those. I also like Jacksons. have to go across the street. Car coming. Go across the street because I got all that brush growth on the left there. I have to walk in the road. I just don't like having cars coming at my back. Don't like it at all. Can't trust no one. Check what something was here. I think I saw something. That's that trail we used to walk up that way. It's like people have been using that trail. That's what I wanted to look at. Maybe we'll go up that way on another walk. Remember, I would stop by and say hi to the hogs that were penned. Wind down the rest of this walk. I am so happy today. I really am. Things are great. Politically and in every other way. What a great country. So I am a huge fan of alligator Alcatraz. Alligator Alcatraz in the Everglades. It's kind of funny because the AP, Associated Press, set up a live camera outside the alligator Alcatraz entrance, live streaming on YouTube, and protesters were showing up. So, which is fine, you know, these protesters, you got the right in America to protest. You have a right to go out in the street and scream that you hate Trump and his policies. That's democracy. However, don't block highways, don't assault people, don't throw things and spit on them, because that is not included in the First Amendment. That is infringing on the rights of other people, which you cannot do in this country. And it will be enforced. That's why Trump comes up with all these little things like, if you spit, we hit. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about, something very important that you may not have noticed because all the other stuff going on, but you know, we just had these riots that were breaking out in Los Angeles and these places. People that did violent things have been prosecuted. The FBI has found out who they are and they're being prosecuted. Word has gotten out about that. And also, the day after the Department of Justice announced that they're going to be investigating and have been investigating these people that have been financing the violent rioting, will be investigated, prosecuted, and shut down. Notice how the rioting has all of a sudden disappeared. It's a miracle, isn't it? There's been one No Kings protest that turned out to not be violent, which is good. Like I said, protest all you want. Protest, scream that Trump is a Hitler. You get a right to do that in this country. You don't have a right to set fire to police cars, smash windows, and commit violence. And these groups financing it are being held accountable, and these protests that have turned violent have stopped. Now today there was supposed to be protests across the country protesting Trump. It's fine. Stay peaceful. Don't block traffic. Don't cause problems for people. You can go out and protest whatever you want every day, 24 hours a day if you want to, as long as you respect the sound ordinances in cities and, you know, you don't disturb the peace. You're free to do what you wish. So enjoy being an American. That's part of what it's all about. So they weren't beeping at me. These two people that drove by each other knew each other. They both beeped. So, my friends, that's about all to talk about today. We'll round things up here. I see some smoke coming out from behind a house. It's blue smoke. Could be campfire smoke. Somebody burning some brush. Maybe. We have an ammo delivery coming today, tomorrow actually, tomorrow. So, good time to stock up on everything. The itch on my knee. So, we'll just finish up the rest of this walk. Turn this around once more up ahead and say my goodbyes for today. But if anything today, I would really like you to just take some time to appreciate what we have as Americans. Even that neighbor you don't like, who is a liberal, who hates your guts. They've been poisoned Don't hate them, okay? Hate the people that did it to them. I know exactly who I hate for Democrats, and I hate Democrats. And I know it's a strong word, but they have earned it. These people are un-American, very dangerous. They use the Constitution as a weapon rather than appreciating what it is. And I cannot respect them for that. And I never will. I feel badly for all these people that they indoctrinate to go along with it. And I'm not going to hold them responsible. So be kind to your neighbors and know that they've been poisoned. They're not themselves. They're kind of like Grampy, who keeps walking up to the trash can out front trying to order ice cream because he's losing his mind. So, you know what I mean? And we have to love thy neighbor, as painful as that may be sometimes. But we need to have peace and we need to have unity. And that's a two-way street. And if there's some Democrat willing to talk and they don't end their sentence with you calling you an effing idiot, because they seem to be very vindictive and hateful. And they're angry right now because they've been told Trump is Hitler and they believe it. It's really quite pathetic. I don't know how people can believe that. A little baby squirrel on a tree. See that? Little baby squirrel. Still a young one. Checking me out. Very aware of his surroundings. I moved my right hand to put it on the fence and it flinched. An electric bicycle. Got a kid on it. Looks like he's having a great time. He's got a helmet. It's like an electric motorbike. I didn't have stuff like that when I was a kid. We had to do all the pedaling ourselves. Had to pedal your own ass. All right, my friends. I guess this is as good a time as any to end this walk. I want to say thank you for walking with me. Click like and subscribe. Say a prayer for Trump and the country. Apparently it's working. Keep praying. And God bless America on this July 4th, Independence Day. And I certainly appreciate everything we have. And we'll do everything we can to fight for it and keep it. It's a republic if you can keep it. And it was funny watching all the Democrats during Trump's impeachments, all quoting constitutional quotes, founding father quotes, and they're the ones that are perverting the Constitution and the power they have for political purposes. And it made me even angrier that they were using those phrases. And when they do that, it makes me hate them even more. So anyway, everybody, we'll see you on the next walk. Enjoy life, have a beautiful holiday, and love your neighbors best you can. See you on the next walk, my friends. Bye bye now. See ya.